In this video, we will show you how to compare the water status itinerary of older vintages, how to make a plot selection, and how to do a pre-plantation scenarios of rows, dimensions, and spacing with ITK Irrig. Because this tool is not just designed to manage vines irrigation. We are talking about a tool to help you make your decision, but not make decisions for you. The tool will guide you in your choices on irrigation scheduling, vine trimming, etc. Remember, this tool does not obviate the need to visit your blocks, but it will help you set priorities according to the water status level of the block, as indicated by the tool. Once the weather station is created, the block is created and connected to a weather station, ITK Irrig is able to simulate the water status of your block of vine for dates where weather data is available. We will first show you how you can use ITK Irrig to compare previous vintages. In fact, one of the uses of ITK Irrig is to compare the water status of your vineyard for previous vintages. The interest of this is to identify the water itineraries that match your reference vintages. You can then identify those itineraries as references to reach every year in order to produce great vintages and have consistency in your production. To do this, select for example here the Premium 13 block. To access the details of this block, click on Block Details at the right of the screen. You access the graph of the water status of this block for the current year, here 2013. At the top left, we have a drop-down menu to access previous years. The block is associated to a weather station. The years that appear in this menu correspond to years of weather data provided to the tool. If we select a year from the menu, 2012 for example, the graph corresponding to this year appears. You can select other vintages in the same way and thus identify the water itinerary of the year 2009 as the one you decide to follow from now on. Developments are underway to make this comparison more functional. The water status itinerary selected could then be saved as a reference and replace the green zone provided by default by the tool. We'll now show you how we can perform a block selection with ITK Irrig. In fact, whether your block is irrigated or not, you can compare for the same year the water status itineraries of different blocks with the purpose to classify them. Let us come back to our Premium 13 block and reselect year 2013 in the drop-down menu on the left. Let us say that this block is not irrigated. Its water status is turning red. This means that you will most probably not achieve the desired objective for this block. However, in 2009, the itinerary was almost in the green area, and the production objective was achieved. We return to the home page and select the Premium 6 plot. We access the details and we see that its water course this year is close to the green zone, so we have more chance of reaching our goals with the block for this year. This comparison allows to classify plots among each other and especially predict harvest dates based on this classification. This allows to anticipate the process in the winery after harvest. We will finally show you how you can use ITK Irrig to decide on optimum row dimensions, spacing and orientation before planting. Suppose you have a block you want to plant. You have the soil parameters for this block and weather data from previous years. After choosing your variety, you need to get some help to decide on the optimal sizing of your rows, their spacing and orientation, of course taking into account the constraints of the slope and the size of your machinery. ITK Irrig can help you make your decision based on the production objective that you defined for that block. Let us create a new block. You have the soil parameters for this block and let us call it pre-planting block, then associate it with the St. Giles weather station, for which we have data for 2011 and 2012. Enter the grape variety, then select a theoretical row spacing and orientation for the first scenario. Now locate your block. You now select the soil parameters of the block. Now, select a theoretical height and width for the canopy. Let us say 40 inches in height and 20 inches width for the first scenario. Select your desired production objective. Now save. We arrive at a page of the block with an empty graph since the weather data for that year is not available. We will select the year 2011. A theoretical water itinerary appears on the graph that corresponds to the parameters entered. This itinerary is outside the green zone, so you need to review your row sizing or spacing or orientation, or even your production objective, which might not be suitable for this block. You click on the Edit button to see if by lowering the height and width of our rows to 30 and 15 inches, for example, the water itinerary would be more satisfying. Here are the results of this new test. It shows that your path is closer to the green zone. Continue this process until you reach the ideal itinerary. Check for other years if the itinerary is acceptable. You will end up with a combination of parameters that will be optimal for your block and your production objective. If you want more information, do not hesitate to check out our other videos on the creation of a weather station, the creation of the block, and irrigation management. You can also find our website www.itkweb.com. Thank you for your attention.